Hey guys, what's up? What's good? How you doing? It's your girl Jenny V. Oh, trying to figure out some kind of intro. But anyways, guys, real quick before I jump into this, if you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Make sure you go down, scroll, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I post a new video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And also leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Alright? And also my social medias will be linked down below. Follow me. I will follow you back. Okay? Anyways, let's talk about these big earrings. Everyone will always comment like when I wear big hoop earrings, big love earrings. Well, those other ones that I had in my other videos, like the regular hoop earrings, those hurt, but they were from Fashion Nova. They were heavy. These, they're pretty light. They're from Rainbow for like $3. They're really huge. I normally have not worn really big like hoops on a regular since high school. That was like what I was known for wearing these huge hoops that would sit on my shoulders, and these pretty much sit on my shoulders. But I thought I'd do it because, you know, my excuse is I got a big head, so I need big earrings to balance it out. But anyways, so in today's video, I'm gonna be telling you guys of how I went on a date with a full-blown criminal, like a felon, like a whole felon that was on the news, okay? And the only reason why I know is because he told me, and I was like, oh, like I didn't know how he expected me to respond to that. So we're gonna go get into this story. Get comfortable, y'all. Get a snack, get a drink, cause this is really about to get juicy, okay? So I could pretty much remember this like it was yesterday. All right, so I was with one of my guy friends. Like he's the homie, he's nothing else. All right, and we were getting food. It was on New Year's Eve, and I was going out that night with my friends, and he had plans too, I think, to go out with his friends. So that's why we went out to go eat. And we were just like, we had nothing to do and we were bored and we were hungry, so we're like, let's just eat, so like, you know, before we go out we don't get too drunk. So we were just getting appetizers, right? And maybe I shouldn't. I'm probably gonna bleep out, guys, where we were, because I don't want anybody to try to find out. So sorry if you hear a bleep or something, or just like whatever, but I just realized after I said that. Anyways, so our waiter, I thought, was like kind of cute, right? And I was joking around with my guy friend. I was like, imagine like I just put my number on there and like we text. And he was like, you won't do it. And I was like, will I? And he was like, do it. And I was like, should I? He was like, bruh, he's like, just do it. He's like, don't be a little bitch, just do it. And I'm like, nah. And then whatever, we were paid, and you know, at restaurants you could just leave it there, especially if you pay by card. And so I wrote my number and then I crossed it out. Like, I crossed it out, guys. I didn't cross it out really good, but like homeboy had to like really look and try to read what I wrote. Because guess what? A few hours later, when I was out at the bar with my friends, I got a text. And it was like, hey, this is so-and-so from blank, from the restaurant. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, you were able to read my number? And he was like, yeah. I was like, so you wanted my number? He's like, well, I was just wondering why you wrote it and then crossed it out. And I was like, because I changed my mind. I was like, how creepy am I to leave my number? Like, I don't know. My friend kind of was like, egged me on. And then I was like, nah, I don't got balls like that. And he was like, oh, he's like, well, why did you leave it? He was a little airheadish, guys, as you'll see later on in the story. And I was like, oh, well, you know, like I left my number there because I thought you were cute, but like I didn't want to seem desperate or thirsty. And I was like, what if he has a girlfriend? Like, I don't want to be disrespectful, and that's kind of odd and weird and whatever. And I was like, so that's why you just messaged me? He's like, I mean, I think you're cute too. And I was like, oh, okay. And then like he was like, what are you doing tonight? And I was like, I'm out at a bar with my friends, and I was like, what about you? And he was like, oh, I'm staying home tonight. And like, I forgot why, but he's like, you know, I have to stay home. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I was like not trying to get too personal, but I was like kind of like, why? And he was like, oh, you know, like I was in rehab, or he jumped into it actually. I was like, that sucks, no plans. And he's like, no, I really can't go out. And I was like, oh. And he was like, yeah, I just got out of rehab a few months ago and I had to stay clean. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm just thinking, like, you know, it's not good with alcohol or maybe drugs. So I was like, oh, okay, like, you know, we all go through our stuff, but like, I come from a parent that had abused alcohol and drugs, you know, so like I already know how that goes, but I also know how hard it can be to like stay away from it. But like my mom was the one that was on it and stuff. Like, she did both. She was really addicted to everything. She made it through, you know, and it took a while. So like I was just like, ugh, like, do I really want to get myself into it? But let me just see how he is, because he seems nice. And y'all, homie was super tall, super tall. Like, I was like under his chest, and I'm 5'5", 5'6", and I'm like, oh. But I never realized how tall. I didn't realize how tall he was because I was just sitting. So it just seemed like he seemed tall. But whatever. So whatever. He told me that. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, maybe one day we should chill. He's like, yeah, why don't we go out to lunch tomorrow? And I'm like, I guess. But like, I thought he meant to like not lunch. He's like, why don't we grab coffee or something tomorrow? And I was like, oh, okay. And like, it was, the next day was a Sunday because I go to IHOP with my dad. Well, I get breakfast every day with my dad, not every day, every Sunday with my dad. It's like a ritual that we've been doing for a really long time. So I was like, okay. I was like, well, I get breakfast with my dad at this time, you know, so like, you know, I'm free after that, but like, I'm not gonna want to eat. Like, I could get coffee. He's like, okay. So whatever. So we meet up, and like, at this place that he said, and I saw him, and I was like, dang, you are tall. Okay, tall boy. Like, this is the first tall person like this tall. Okay, like, I'm under your chest. Like, what? Okay, so like, I was already hyped and whatever. So I don't expect somebody to pay for me every time, okay? But like, when it's your first time and you are initiating that we should go out, I feel like you should pay, right? That's just me, but whatever. So we get there, and I had told him before we met up, I was like, I'm not gonna be hungry, I'm just letting you know. We get there, he gives me the menu, and I'm just like, I just want coffee. He's like, no, get something else. I was like, but I'm not hungry. I ate like 2 hours ago. I'm not hungry. And like, he wanted to meet up super early. Like, I finished breakfast with my dad around 10ish, no later than 10:30, and homie wanted to meet up at like 11, 12, and I'm like, boy, this is super early. Like, I don't get it. And he just wanted to meet up early, so I was like, all right, whatever. And then he was telling me to get food, and I was like, I'm not hungry. He's like, just get it, it's really good here. I was like, but I'm not hungry. So I was forced to get food. Like, he could tell me this, so whatever. I got food, right? And I ordered food, and then like, I was like, okay, so this is what made me think that he was gonna pay, because so like, we waited, and like, he ordered his food first, so I was gonna order my food after him, like, you know, let him pay, let the lady cash him out. And like, so he ordered, and then he looked at me, and I was like, oh, together? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so that's indicating like you want to pay for us together, because I was waiting like, oh, you know, like, I asked you. So then she takes it, and then he looks at me like, am I gonna pay? And I'm like, and I look at him like, I'm not paying for us. The hell? I was ready to pay for my own on my own, and I asked you, and you said you got together. I never agreed together pay for us. So whatever. So we sat down, and I was like, oh, I'll give you the money for my food. And he was like, okay. And I'm just like, hold up. Like, I was just saying so I didn't seem like whatever, but like at the same time, I was originally trying to have us be separate, and then you want to add it together, and then you want to look at me like if I'm supposed to pay for your food. Like, first of all, this wasn't my idea. Second of all, like, I just wasn't trying to pay for you, and I already had in my mind like I was gonna pay for me, and you're already forcing me to get food that I don't want, that I'm gonna bring home and whatever. So I gave him $20 because this stuff was expensive. It came to $40 for our food, and I think I didn't even get a drink, or I got a water, and it wasn't like I got anything fancy. Not like I got a steak or ribs. And I took like a bite of a french fry, and I was like, I'm gonna take this to go and whatever. And he ate, and he was like, okay. And tell me why he was like, I wasn't even hungry. What? Why did you make me get food? Why did you get food? Like, so I thought we were just gonna peace out, like, okay, cool, like, we had a little chit chat and that was it. No, y'all, no. He was like, come to my car, and I'm like, okay. And I remember I texted one of my friends like, I'm going to this dude's car, so just here's my location. I think I already gave it to her before, so whatever. So we get in his car, and he's just talking to me, and we're just like chit-chatting about like where we're from, blah blah blah, whatever. Then he starts talking about exes, and I'm like, oh, this is a little uncomfortable. Like, I'm okay with talking about exes, but like, this is the first day we really talk, and you want to talk about exes already? And your exes? Like, he was so comfortable talking about his exes, talking hella trash. Like, I didn't ask about your exes. I really don't care about your exes at this point. Okay, guys, Jen from the future just had to jump in real quick and tell you guys that also he was talking about his recent ex that lived in Colombia, and he was really heartbroken that they couldn't be together, and was going into depth about how he felt. And I was like, this is super awkward, this is really weird. Like, you're on a quote-unquote date or getting to know somebody that you're trying to talk to, but you're telling me how you miss this girl that you were recently with and tried to make it work but couldn't because you guys live across the country, well, live in 2 different countries. So I was like, awkward. Like, really, like, he was like, yeah, he was really butthurt. Like, he was just like, yeah, she lives in Colombia and da 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 and whatever. And I'm like, okay. And then we get into him telling me that he was arrested. So he was like, oh, you know how I told you like I couldn't go out, blah blah blah. I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, that has to do with because I was arrested. And I was like, oh, what were you arrested for? And you know, normally I always ask the guys, like, on the conversation, I was like, have you ever been arrested? And they say, yeah. Well, no. I've never had one that said yeah, or they'd be like, I spent like a night in jail because they were like too drunk or something, and, you know, public intoxication or whatever. And that was like the most I ever had anybody be arrested for. Well, he was like, I'm pretty sure, yeah, because we were talking about like, do you have kids? No, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, no, I didn't even ask the question, because I was just like, dang, I didn't even get to my have you ever been arrested part. He asked me. That's right. He's like, have you ever been arrested? And I was like, no, I haven't. And before I could even ask him, he's like, well, he's like, I have. That's why like I couldn't go out last night. And I was like, oh, for what? What did you go to jail for? How long? And he was like, he was drug laundering and money laundering and like a big thing, y'all. Like, it wasn't like no little like I sell weed here and there, like little nickels and dimes type of thing. No, homie was selling like LSD, I hope I'm saying this right, shrooms, acid, I even think it was cocaine. I was like, oh my god. And I'm in the car like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. All in my head I'm just like, bro, what the fuck did I get myself into? Okay. So he's telling me all this, and I'm like, wow. And he's like, yeah, we got busted, and I was on the news. And I was like, you were on the news? You were on the news? What? He's like, and he sounded like real like, haha, he like, it was something to be proud of. He's like, yeah, I was on the news and all, and he had the biggest smile from ear to ear telling me this, like, he told me he hit the lottery or something kind of smile. And I was like, I'm over here like, and he's over here like, and I'm like, and he's like, okay, that's how it was. And I'm like, bro, this dude, oh my god, what did I get myself into? Jennifer, what did you get yourself into? Okay. And then tell me why homie brings out his phone. He starts showing me the pictures of all the drugs that he had at the time. He's like, yeah, this is like the LSD, and I don't really know drugs like this, okay? Like, I know what weed and coke is and that, but like, I never really knew what shrooms and LSD look like and stuff. Like I've heard of them, but like, to actually see it and stuff. And I'm like, why are you showing me this? Like, I really don't care. This is what I'm thinking in my head. And he's just showing me, and I'm like, oh my god, bro, like, you sound really proud of all this. I mean, I'm not judging if this is somebody's like job and stuff, but like, you were flaunting that you got arrested and that whatever, and you were a legit felon on TV, on the news, like, you were shown busted. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then whatever, so our conversation ends, and I'm like, all right, well, I gotta get going, you know, I got stuff to do. And he was like, okay, gives me a hug. Homie tries to give me a kiss, and I was like, sorry, I don't do that. Like, the first time of actually like the beginning of whatever this is, like, it was no date because I had to pay for my stuff, and you were really complicated and really confusing, so I would not consider this a date and whatever. And he's like, oh, okay. Y'all, I got out of my car so fast. Well, I got out of his car so fast and went to my car. Meanwhile, we have the same car, but his is just a different color. And we were talking about that too. But that's irrelevant. And I texted my friend. I was like, bitch. I knew his whole name because I think it was on his Instagram or something like that. I was like, we gotta look this boy up. Told her everything. She's like, what? I was like, yes. We found his mugshot. I was like, and we read the story, and I was like, oh my god, this was like a big drug bust in New York. And I'm like, I think it was between New York and New Jersey and Connecticut type of thing. Like, they were across those 3 states, and I was like, bro, what the flip? She was like, Jen, you were on a date with a whole criminal, a whole felon, a whole America's Most Wanted. That's what he told me. He was on America's Most Wanted. And I was like, I don't know if he was BSing about that, or like the person who was like on the top of his chain was on America's Most Wanted and their goons were a part of it, or what. I don't know, something like that. I didn't look that much in. All I knew was I saw homie's mugshot, and I was like, wow, in the story, and I was like, wow, like legit wow. And I told her his reaction. She was like, what? And he tried talking to me after that, and I was just like, block. And yeah, so that yeah, but he still follows me on Instagram, and or he views my stories one, because I see his name when like I post stories. And so if he sees the title of the story, I'm pretty sure he's gonna have an idea it's about him and watch it. So hi, if you're watching, sorry, no hard feelings, but I see you have a girlfriend, or had a girlfriend the last time I checked her profile, but not creeping or anything. I'm just a nosy ass bitch. But yeah, this was shocking. This is awkward if he's watching it, kind of. But now you know how I felt and how you should be when you tell people this. And don't talk about your exes when you are meeting a new person. Just putting it out there, not right away until they start asking questions. At least that's my opinion. Y'all, if you have a different opinion about that, leave a comment below. Tell me how you feel about barely even a first date, just meeting the person and they start talking about their ex. Do you think that's okay? Would you start it? you let me know. But yeah, so that was my experience of being on a date. It was pretty much like a blind date, because I kind of like set myself up on a blind date, but I knew who it was, but I didn't know the person. I just like thought he was cute, you know? So it was like, yeah, not the best move I've ever made. So on that note, you guys, be careful who you leave your number on a receipt to for. And if you change your mind, just rip that part of the paper off. Just rip it off. Or make a hole. Take it out. Because he could be a criminal. He could be America's Most Wanted. Yeah, so that was one of my worst, interesting, awkward dates that I've been on. That's probably what I will title this, maybe. We'll see. You know, maybe one of the part of the worst date chronicles type series we'll do, you know? But anyways, guys, I will leave you on that. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. Follow me on my social medias. I will follow you guys back if I can. I most likely will. And yeah, so take care, guys. I love you. Bye.